So one thing that I really loved from the Leslie Zann call was just hearing the story about the woman that hit Green Diamond in 3 weeks. And the way that she did it was through duplication, right? Through helping two new brand partners to Fast Start Executive, helping two new brand partners to Fast Start Director, um, and just doing that duplication of UBT, that rhythm of three, and just holding that bar high of how capable everyone is. So it's always inspiring when somebody does something new, because then they set a new standard. So I want to open it up. Thank everyone for being here. And I want to open it up to the voices on this call so that you can celebrate your team, celebrate yourself, celebrate each other. That's so important, because whatever we celebrate, we create. So if anybody wants to take the mic, either on something that you learned or a celebration.
I can hop on real quick. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hey, hello. Um, so I want to celebrate Miss Rebecca Dussault for hitting Green Diamond the month after she hit Diamond. So, or no, 1 month in between. So yeah, Rebecca is just such a boss, and she has really nurtured her team. She also helped develop a Fast Start director and develop another director that's new to her team as well. So just really showing up with so much grace and patience, and helping people as they learn the ins and outs of this business. So just really wanted to shout her out and celebrate her. And I don't see her on this call, but I just wanted to welcome a friend to our team too. Her name is Cecilia Christie, and she was with Purium a long time before, and she took a big break. So she's now back on the team. So hopefully if she catches this recording, she'll feel the love. So thank you guys. Love you.
And I'll do a couple shout outs for Mary. She's on the Grand Canyon with her family, but she wanted to send her love to everyone and say congratulations. I know that was the closest she's been to 3-star crown yet. So that's as a result of everyone here. So thank you all. And she wanted to give a shout out to Anna and Rebecca for Green Diamond, and Camille for re-ranking Green Diamond for 3 months in a row. And I'd love to hear from Rebecca and Anna too on your Green Diamond runs. Just huge congratulations and shout out to all of you. And I see Ilsa here. I'll shout you out too, Ilsa. You've just been so consistent, such a powerhouse. Really setting yourself and your team up for beautiful leadership and hosting calls, and also 6K Club, just so much. Like, you really inspire me with how far you've come in your personal development, your professional development, the way that you show up. You really show up as a leader and really show up with zero excuses. It doesn't matter what's happening in your life. You always orient yourself towards a solution, which is really, really powerful. So love you, and thanks for all that you're doing. Yay. Hi, Laura. We're doing shout outs, team shout outs, and personal shout outs.
Well, if nobody's shouting out, I'll shout out my awesome team, because I'm so stoked about Tamara, our Timony's new brand partner, who hit consultant in 3 days, no problem. And she's on her way to director. I'm so excited about our team meeting tonight. You know that feeling? Like, I love these guys. And I saw Michelle just like stepped right in with her knowledge that she's gaining from Carrie, and talked to one of my customers who did nothing but praise her after the call. Like, I'm leaning on each other. Bob is my accountability partner now, and Tamara and Ginger are going to be accountability partners. It's like we need each other. We need each other. And I'll tell you something funny. I was looking for this link and I looked on Facebook, and there was a post from Mary Beth Fleming, April 2020, saying that her goal was to hit diamond by the 15th of this month of April, of April in 2020. And all these names that were there are, you're our leaders now. So I was screenshotting that to show my team, and I'm like, look, we can do this too. So thanks for you guys for shining the way, man.
That's awesome, Laura. I love that.
I
Wow.
know.
I think
was-
something really important to remember is sometimes we think of like, oh my gosh, this is where I'm headed and this is where I'm going, but we forget to reflect on how far we've come to get to this moment right now. So make sure to like really recognize all of yourselves for every step you've taken to get to this point. So I love that, Laura.
Thanks.
Yay. And I see Miss Lindsay Scott on here. I want to shout you out as well, for your consistency and your dedication and your leadership, and also really helping your new brand partners get to their next level and just getting so much clarity in your vision and purpose and how you want to show up in the world. And so I love it. See you and thank you.
I want to shout myself out.
Yeah.
Someone joined us last night and
Oh my gosh.
yeah, someone made an appearance, born on the farm at home in a free birth in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And it was beautiful. And I felt super supported by all of you. And of course, superfoods, and what a healthy pregnancy I had. And yeah, so this is my shout out. This is Narek Phillip.
Oh my gosh. He's amazing.
He's a little 5 pound, 2 ounce guy.
He's smiling.
Oh, we're joining someone else, but thank you, especially to my team who's picking up my slack right now, and to all of you who keep me inspired and just so supported as we all have things that come up in life. And this is such a consistency model. You know, you think of, oh, I don't know, I'm selling things. I sell a lot one month. I don't sell a lot another month. I don't feel that. I feel so much grace and consistency in this work, and it's really borne my confidence. So even in this time when I'm going to take it a little easier and refocus on some other things, I just know that the system is so duplicatable and so supportive. And so it makes me feel, keep your hands down, makes me feel really, really empowered. So thank you. And thanks for hosting, and all of you for being here. You're all part of my inspiration. Upline, downline, sideline. There is no line. We're a family. So thank you.
Family. Oh, you're glowing, Rebecca, and he's absolutely beautiful. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you and your family. And way to be such a powerhouse leader and just showing what's possible in every moment through your posture. So love you. Thank you.
Hey everyone. Oh, Rebecca, sweet, sweet, so happy. He is so beautiful. Congratulations. What a surprise. Oh, yeah, last month was super fun. It was the first, like, just the I don't want to say easiest, because I know I definitely put in a lot of effort, but it was the most enjoyable month I've ever had in my whole 4 years of Purium experience. And that's how I feel like the magic happened, is like I just welcomed it in and had fun supporting my team, really met them where they're at and saw them just more than ever, like wanted to see them succeed. And just like Gooch just said, we're the next leaders rising, and it is so beautiful that that's the way this works. So yeah, thanks, Rita. Give Mary Beth my love.
I'm so proud of you. That's so amazing.
I want a quick shout out Ashley Morgan because I see her on this call. When Purium was glitching to the exponential degree is right when Ashley joined. And she was like, this company is crazy. I don't know how to even recommend it to people. Ladies, she and gentlemen, she did fast start executive last month. That is not easy coming from a place where it was the rockiest of starts. Camille definitely towed a strong line with her just in belief and like, just keep doing the thing, keep being customer service oriented, keep serving all the people and just realizing this is going to smooth out. And she just went from zero to hero in my book. And simultaneously is on her own healing journey, which is so inspirational to me. I just forget how much people go through. They're not only building a business, but at the same time going, raising children, doing all the things she's doing and healing herself as well. It's really inspirational. I look forward to continuing to build with Ashley.
I love that, Rebecca. And that's such a strong characteristic to on leadership and on just persistence and continuing to find solutions. And I found during that really rocky patch where there were so many glitches, it actually deepened my relationship with a lot of my customers because I was just like, whoo, I'm sorry, we're in a learning curve right now. We're updating all of our systems, and it actually deepened our rapport and our trust and our connection and our relationship because we had to move through those problems and challenges together. So I love that. Congrats, Ashley. And I see Georgiana and Jesselyn here. You're new. Welcome. So grateful to be working with you ladies. And it's been beautiful to see you showing up with your passion. So hi.
Hi, Rita. Thank you so much. It's such a wonderful pleasure to be part of this inspiring team. And I'm at the beginning of my journey building the business. But I'm just so grateful to be here and myself be inspired and learn.
Welcome. It's definitely a family. Excited to see you shine. And if anybody else wants to shout themselves out, shout each other out.
I'd like to give a quick shout out. Well, thank you to Camille. Camille was very supportive of me and almost kind of just giving up on all the things or not knowing how to work it. So thank you, Camille, and all of my team. And then I just want to give a little shout out to Molly. I don't think she's on here, but her and I have been holding each other accountable, and she is on a pretty intense healing journey herself. And so she ranked fast start director, and by golly, she did it without gripping on to anything. She wasn't worried, and she was just working on her healing, and she just let it come to her. And I just thought it was really beautiful. So I shout her out.
I'd like to just give a word for Deb Howland, who's on here too, because as she can see, we're not all exactly, exactly her age, but Deb, you are brave and you are bold and you are consistent and you are doing things that are serving so many people, and you're finding your yes. And that's so much more powerful than your no or even when I find my yes so much more powerful than my no. And I just love that we're building with you, and yeah, you just keep showing up and doing.
Looks like Rebecca
So
cut. Oh, there we go.
present. Whoop,
You cut out there for a second on your last bit of your.
sorry. Yeah, just saying that Deb is always consistent, and she's positive, and she's present, and she's learning. And, you know, not all of us want to take on totally new, different, you know, it's not easy at any age, but you know, Deb is like, yes, I'm a woman of the yes. So thank you, Deb.
Yay. Deb or anyone else want to share? Awesome. Well, I'm gonna transition us if nobody else wants to share, but this is so important to recognize and celebrate each other. And sometimes it's not always a goal or a rank or something that we hit, but it's a huge personal development, like an internal shift, you know. So it's really important, you know, on a daily basis to acknowledge what you're celebrating yourself for, because we're all doing big things every single day. Even those little steps, you know, are huge, because it's a bunch of little tiny steps that get us to a big vision and to a big goal. So congrats. Yay. And thank you, Lindsay. It's truly an honor, you know, working together in this way is such an honor. This has been the deepest personal development for me, is getting to reflect back and work with our community and uplift each other, you know. And we can't lead someone somewhere that we haven't been. So much of it is just having the courage to take that step into the unknown of like, hey, what is the next step? I don't know. Let's try this. So I just want to congratulate everyone, you know, for your courage. And yay. Congratulations, Rebecca. So something that I wanted to briefly speak on today. Has anyone ever heard the quotes, the quality of questions you ask determines the quality of your life? Go ahead and drop a 1 if you've heard that before. And so this has been really transformational for me. So asking powerful questions leads us to take powerful actions, which leads to powerful results. So something I've been asking myself a lot lately is, what would it take? So, hey, what would it take to create financial freedom and time freedom within 6 months? What would it take? And just pose that question out and then start to take actions. And I know that one's possible because that was my journey here in Purium. It allowed me to create that time and financial freedom. And it's allowed so many others too. So think about the result outcome that you want to create. So for example, what would it take to enroll 5 new activated coachable brand partners and help them in their success? What would it take to enroll them this month, you know? And then just pose this question multiple times a day and be like, oh, I would need to do X, and write down X and put it into your action steps, into your time block, into your calendar. Or what would it take to help 5 people create financial freedom and time freedom in the next 6 months? You know, so just start asking powerful questions in the direction that you want to go, and life starts to present the answers, and you start to take the action steps of how to complete that, how to make that possible. So what would it take, right? go ahead and make sure to practice that before you do your action steps, before you jump into your time blocks, and continue to ask these questions because they are transformative. And drop a 2 if that's helpful for you all. Yeah, awesome. And go ahead and put some questions in the chat, some what would it take questions that you want to work towards. Who would I have to become to rank Blue Diamond this month? Who would I have to become to rank Blue Diamond in the next 3 months? Yay. So start to ask these questions. And Ginger, you said, what are some of your lists to that question? So it's different. It really gets me embodied into it. Like, what would it take to help 5 people become brand partners who are coachable and engaged and excited, and help them go to the next level of their life? Well, then I know for me, one of the action steps is sitting down and getting really clear on who I want to work with. First of all, getting really clear on, who is looking for that next step in their life. And then taking the actions to build those relationships and get into conversation. So if you can think about something differently, you're going to get different results. And these are meant to be deeper questions that are not yes or no questions. They're meant to make you really think and feel into it and embody it and get that next action step for yourself. Yeah, what if the powerhouses on my chicken list said yes when I finally ask? Yes, I love that, Rebecca. So the question is, what would it take? Okay. And next, I want to dive into storytelling. So as you all know, Mary and I just got back from a really transformational, beautiful experience with Lisa Nichols. And her whole thing is transformational speaking, which is how can you bring someone home to themselves through words? How can you create healing through words? And that's through our stories and our storytelling. And so all of what we do here with Purium is storytelling. It's telling our stories, it's telling other people's stories, and showing what's possible through our own stories and through other people's stories. So one of the formats that she taught us is called the valley. It's called the dip. And the idea of this is you go from like your bigger you, and the bigger me is like, wow, I'm so amazed that my sister and I have created an organization that has impacted over 11,000 women and families to create generational health, to deepen their impact, and to create a vision that they didn't know that they deserved, right? So that's kind of like my bigger me. And then you drop into your valley, which is a low point in your life. And so that's what people know about me, but what they didn't know about me is X, Y, and Z. And I share one of my stories. So how many of you have heard, drop a 2 if you've heard the stories that Mary and I have been sharing on our weekly health and wealth calls, the Transform Your Life calls. And if you've been, write yes, if you've been inspired by those or if they've moved you. Awesome. Yeah. So this is so fun and so creative. You just get to, we have the most potent lessons inside of ourselves from the experiences that we've all been through. And we've all been through many, many different experiences. And it doesn't have to be a big experience, because most of our breakthroughs have been internal, have been mindset shifts, right? So we all have these lessons from our experiences, and that's what we get to tap into with our stories to provide inspiration for others, or to provide the possibility, right? Like, hey, this is my journey, and if I've done it, you can do it too. So when you're sharing your health and business story, I want you to think about these questions. I'm going to put them in the chat for you. And I'm going to give you all this format. So discovering your health and business story. Think of maybe a childhood experience when you felt powerless. So the idea here again is we're going kind of from our bigger you into our valley, which is our low. And then we're bringing people out of our valley through the lessons that we've learned. So what is a challenging time in your life, whether it was mentally something that you had to work through? In my business story last week, I was sharing how growing up, I actually dealt with a lot of bullying, and that made me feel like, oh, it's not safe to shine, right? And then finding this business community became the first place where I didn't get ridiculed for shining. I got celebrated for shining. And it helped me, this business helped me to move through some of my deepest fears. And on the other side of those fears, I found that little girl that needed love and nurturing. And that's what I found on the other side of the fear. And on the other side of the fear, I found, my freedom. I went from cleaning toilets to having a 6-figure business, right? On the other side of that fear, I found the woman I wanted to become. So that was kind of my bigger me of what I've accomplished today, down into my valley of like, what was a hard time? And then the lessons that I learned, right? And so I learned all these lessons through this community, through Purium, through this business community, that has transformed me. So in the text, there's some examples of discovering your health and business story. So it can be a time where you were in a financially low situation. It can be a moment where you were rocked to your core. It can be a time where you felt all or nothing, And what you're going to do, this is just a short, simple 2-minute story. I'm going to put the format in here for you. Okay, so what year was it? What season was it? Was it fall time? Was it cold? And then describe yourself. Like when I was sharing my business story, I was rebellious, I danced to the beat of my own drum, like I just shared a little bit about myself during that time period. And then what happened and how did you feel? And what ran through your head? So when you speak to what ran through your head when you're telling a story, that is the gold, because we all have these thoughts that we think that we don't share out loud necessarily. But when you share the thoughts that you were thinking, that's when others insert themselves in your story. So it's no longer your story, it's their story. They're remembering a time when they went through something similar, or when they felt that way, or when they had an experience like that, so you're making it not about you, it's really about the other person. So you're inviting people into your story. And how did you rise? So how did you work through it? And what did you learn? So that's how we move out of that valley and into what we've learned and who we've become now that we've worked through that. And this being said, not every story is meant to be shared, because some of us are still in the valleys of our stories, right? Hi, Lure. And so it's really something that you've worked through, and think of something specifically in relationship to this community. Like, what has this community gifted you or given you or helped you work through? Or, and for me, this community met me at a time in my life when I was praying for solutions. I was praying for that next step. I was praying for a way to create freedom in my life, but didn't know how to make it happen. So yeah, that is the foundation for this story. And again, you just simply write it out, and practice it a couple of times. So usually when we write our first story, we have to go through multiple revisions of it. And then once you start sharing it and practicing it and like getting it in your mouth, you might change it a little bit. But let's practice, and as you start to develop your stories, we can share them, and we can do lives together, and we can do our weekly calls and such. So drop a 2 if this is helpful, if this is landing, if this is making sense. Awesome. Great. And are there any clarifying questions on this? Ginger, and this is asking, is this story supposed to be about when we started Purium? So it's tying in your relationship to it. So maybe you had a hard time. This is just an example, not related to you. Maybe someone had a hard time in their health journey, and maybe they had given up, and maybe they were tired of, trying things that didn't work. And then maybe you found Purium and you felt hope again. And maybe you learned 1, 2, and 3, X, Y, and Z. And maybe, you're still in your process of your journey, but you've reclaimed something, so there's a health story, there's a business story, there's so many different stories that we have. And what I challenge you to do is start to catalog your stories and just come up with one to start with. But, eventually you'll have a couple stories or a few stories that relate to different transformations in your life, and how you moved through that, and what solutions you found. And in relationship to your Purium business, that can be so many things. That can be community, that can be health, that can be business transformation, that can be personal development, that can be financial transformation, that can be time freedom. There's so much that you can share here. Hi, Camille.
Hey, Rita. This has always been kind of challenging for me, because I find that maybe like the lower points in my life, the valleys, include people that, are very careful with their own privacy. And so how do you get around that when you have the story, but it
Yeah.
involves other people. So, like so I feel like I tend to hold back. I mean, it's easy for me to tell my health story. That's really easy, but it's not very easy for me to tell my financial story, because out of respect,
Yes, this is such a good question. So we don't want to tell a story unless we can keep that person that's involved dignified, like give them back their dignity. So Lisa gave a really great example. She went through a time in her life where she was in an abusive relationship. She's like, how can I tell this story, and my valley and my low, and how I came out of it, and keep that person intact? And so how she did that was, and this was her words, what I learned is, hurt people, and healed people heal people. So she realized that there was a deeper wound there, so if you can do it in a way that maintains their dignity, or leave out certain details, you don't have to go that deep, but you can say more of the situation, the financial situation, and what that led you to, and how you're moving through that, and how you're overcoming that, and the lessons that you're learning from that, and the woman that you are becoming through that challenge. And the wrap up, how to end it, is the lessons that you learned. So let's see, like my business story that I shared recently, what I learned is, it's safe for me to shine. What I learned is I don't have to be hyper independent and do everything on my own. What I learned is the more I lean into my community, the stronger we are collectively, so pull out the gifts and the lessons that you've learned through your experiences. And that's the story piece. And something I wasn't going to go into today, but I will touch on, is there's a bridge. So from your story, then maybe you're moving into content, like sharing a little bit more of the details of our business, the support that's provided. Maybe there's, the $3,500 in a bonuses. So that's more, I'm transitioning from my story into my content. And so a transition point on your way out of your story, I like to do an invitation. So my invitation on my business one was, I invite you to take a closer look where you have played small for fear of ridicule. Or I invite you to look at what is behind or beyond your fear of success, or your fear of failure, or who is the woman that you're waiting to become on the other side of the fear. So it's kind of an invitation. What is your invitation to them? And that's kind of based off of what you learned. So that's a really great transition. And going into my story, my bridge was, what was it? It was, sometimes we have to face our deepest fears in order to touch our biggest blessings. Right? So sometimes we have to face our deepest fears before we touch our biggest blessings. And that was my case in rising in this business. I actually pumped the brakes when I started to be really successful, because I was like, oh my gosh, I guess I'm afraid of success. Oh my gosh, where did this fear come from? And that's when I realized, oh wow, it came from when I was a little girl. And so I learned to love my fears and face my fears with loving kindness, and to approach them with love so that I could see what's on the other side of them. Right. So, and then when I was willing to embrace and love those fears, I could move through them and move beyond them. So that is, yes. So gender, sometimes we have to face our deepest fears in order to touch our biggest blessings. So then I went into my story, my valley, what I learned, and then I transitioned out of it. Like, my invitation is for you to explore, where are you playing small because of fear? Where are you holding yourself back? Right? So have fun with this. This is so powerful. And Lisa Nichols, for those of you that don't know about her, she's just a huge inspiration and mentor of mine. And anytime her content would go viral, get millions and millions of views, it was because she did this valley. She did this process. She started with her bigger self, moved into her challenge, moved into the lessons she learned, moved into the invitation. So this is something that you can do on Reels. This is something you can do on social media. This is something that we can all do on our weekly calls. And then in just daily storytelling. So really, really powerful. And you're giving the gift of you, because every single person here is a gift. You each have something beautiful to share, and we can do that through our stories. Our stories are healing. Yeah. Great. Any other questions on that? So you have the format above, and just practice it, and we'll go through this and, take a few minutes to write it out. And I was listening to Leslie on Tuesday, and she was doing this format. And so I texted her, I was like, Leslie, did you study with Lisa? Did you do this format? And she's like, no, I didn't even know, but I love Lisa. So it's a really powerful format. And it just takes you deeper, especially when you start to get into the thoughts you were thinking and all of that. Okay, so drop a 5 if that feels good. Complete for now. We'll keep practicing. We'll keep diving in. There's more amazing things that we can layer into this, but this is so powerful for your unique genius, your deeper message to come through. Like, we all have a deeper message. And it wasn't until I started to do this storytelling that I was like, wow, one of my core deep messages is giving people permission to shine. Letting people know it's safe to shine. It's okay to shine, so you're going to find your deeper core messages through this. And then Purium was the community that helped me to step into that and to shine. So it's just going to be fun to play with. And now I want to share a little bit of the We on Fire board. So let me share my screen real quick. Let's see. Okay. So we all have access to the We on Fire board. If somebody wants to put the access link in there in the chat, go ahead. And then so click on We on Fire. Mary is so organized. She organizes this board. And if you go to What's Important Now Corporate, it has all of this month's promotions. So you can go through there and learn if you need any clarification on any of the promotions to get free points. You can go through there. This month's hashtag contest. So we always have a monthly hashtag contest where you can win 500 points. And this one is we're going to be sharing about the healthy habits, ULT healthy habits. So doing a reel or a post, and there's examples. And you can always go to this hashtag, like on Instagram, and see examples of what people are doing. Okay. And then, so all of that is in here. There's powerful testimonials, the sustainability. So there's everything that you need for this month is in there. And then if you go back out to What's Important Now team, everything that's relevant for this month is also here. So Christina and a lot of leaders on this call have head up this spring blossom. And so here's examples of inviting people to a spring transformation with us, because spring, everyone's feeling it. The plants are coming to life, or our body is craving more living foods. We're ready to clean out our bodies from winter and all of the residue and stagnation, So spring is just a beautiful time. So you can invite guests. There's inviting language. There's how to share. So the transformation details, they have a website that's really beautiful that they put together that explains about it. What does the 30 days look like? Does it include? Who's your support system and team? So that includes you and all of us and all of these beautiful people here. So this is something that you can share and invite people into. Let me see. So all of this is here, and then the weekly team calls, you can find them here. The replays that we've been doing, or for like this team call, will be found here. And our team health and wealth replays, that's where you can find them. Just go to 2023, and that's where they will be. And Mary and I are going to be doing a really profound business transformation call next week. So be sure to invite guests to that. Anyone that could be transformed by this, or who is looking to make a larger impact in the world, or looking to create more time freedom, or just who you would love to work with. So again, go back to those powerful questions and getting that clarity of who you want to link arms with and why. So yay. Okay, and I hope, thank you, Camille, for putting that We on Fire boards in the chat. And I just want to open it up to any other questions, reflections in these last few minutes. Are you guys excited for the spring transformation? Drop a 2 if you're excited for it. And what's so powerful about this community, again, is we're all working together. So many hands make light work. So thank you to Christina and everyone that organized this spring cleanse so that we could all utilize it and leverage it, because it does take hours and hours to put these transformations together. So just being able to lean in and use them, let's really leverage that, because that's so powerful. Oh, yeah. And thank you, Amy. We have an info call to invite to that tomorrow. So again, all the details can be found in the board, and we will also post the details in the We on Fire messenger feed. So great. I'm going to go ahead and close this up, but anyone have any reflections or anything you want to share in closing or questions? Awesome. Thank you. Love you all. So good to see everyone, and congratulations on such powerful work that everyone's doing and the directions that you're moving in, and continue to ask those powerful questions. What would it look like? Yes, because that is going to bring you to some places beyond what we previously imagined, and just knowing that you have all the tools to make it happen. Thanks. Love you all. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. And there is a powerful Fierce Friday call tomorrow too that you can invite guests to. So love you all. Have fun.